Okay, how's everybody doing this evening? EOS had a really big day, lots of things to talk about, but the first thing I want to talk about tonight is everybody asks me about the wallets. We need a wallet, we need a wallet, we need a wallet to vote, we need a wallet to stake our tokens, all that stuff. So I found a really good wallet and I want to recommend it. It's by EOS Rio, Brazil. It's the Simplos. I'll put the Simpleos, Simplos, can't say it, but I'll put the link below. That's a really good wallet. I recommend it. That's the one I would use. So EOS Rio, Brazil. Thank you very much for making a really great wallet. I'll have the link below, and everybody can see the wallet and use the wallet. That's a really great wallet, and I recommend that wallet. Second thing I want to do is I want to talk about a block producer, the Tribe, Steve Floyd. I want to talk about the Tribe. Steve Floyd would make a very good block producer, and I would appreciate it if you vote for him for block producer. He's really close, as is EOS Rio, Brazil. They're very close too. If you could vote for those two for block producer, I'd really appreciate it. They make great block producers. I talked one night about Crypto Lions, and you guys moved them up into the top 21, and I really appreciate it. If you could vote for those two block producers, I would really be happy. Those would make great block producers. They're great. They'd be great block producers. Please vote for EOS Rio, Brazil, and the EOS Tribe in Cheyenne, Wyoming. So, okay, now that we covered that, let's talk about what everybody's talking about with EOS, the RAM trading. The RAM trading went out of control today. It went out of control today. So I think over the past, in fact, I don't even know what the numbers are anymore. I couldn't follow it anymore because it just got so high. I don't even know how much it is, 700 EOS for a megabyte of RAM. I think that's the last time I noticed what it was. It could be 1,000 by now. I have no idea. It started the day probably around 150, 200, and it's gone up to that. So I think in the last, I read on Reddit that there's like 1,400%, and I don't even think that's where it's at today. It may be well over that. So there's been a lot of speculation in the RAM, the access random memory that it takes in order to launch a project or have a project running on EOS mainnet. It takes RAM to do that. So people have been speculating in the RAM. And it's speculation because not everybody decided this morning that they were going to build a project on EOS and run the RAM up from a few hundred EOS to almost 1,000 EOS for a project they decided to build today. Nobody's doing that. Everybody's speculating. Okay, as everybody knows, I'm a really big fan of EOS. I love EOS. And this is another kind of feature to EOS, and it's another part of the design of this project that really is unique, and also very profitable, as a lot of people found out today. And it ran the price up a little bit today. I think the price is up over 10%. And just to give you some figures, I think that before today, you could have done an airdrop for around I think yesterday was around $20,000 or $30,000 for an airdrop. Today it would be 150, 160, 170, maybe $200,000. That gives you an idea how much the RAM has gone up in one day. Okay, let's be honest here. RAM is not a scarce resource. RAM is computer hardware. So RAM could be changed at any time. Now I know Dan Larimer is a free market kind of guy, and he's going to see where this goes. And also they want to make sure that projects that are built on EOS have some value. So unless you're willing to put the money out and spend some money on RAM, you know, they want to make sure there's quality products. That's a good idea. That's a good way to go. That's a good thing. That's a balancing act. But the other side of this is that it's so expensive that people aren't going to use the platform, which people probably aren't going to leave, but maybe people will hold off a little bit. In other words, if you're going to do something on EOS right now, you may want to just wait a little bit to see how the RAM settles out. It may go up. I think it's going to go down. And the reason I think it's going to go down is because it's run up so fast in one day. And people have just figured out how to stake tokens and purchase RAM. So today, if you staked your tokens and you bought RAM for $700 or $800, and tomorrow the RAM drops back to $300, guess what? You lost a bunch of money. you lost a bunch of EOS, which is what I'm concerned about. I don't like where people are gambling with their EOS. I mean, I think EOS is a very valuable token, and it's going to be more valuable in the future. As I said, I believe it's going to be $100 a token, and some people think it's going to be $1,000 a token. But whatever it's going to be, you don't want to lose it in this stare down with other people in a RAM speculation. So that's what's happening right now. You got so many people involved with this that are just bidding up the RAM that the first person that blinks is going to lose. Because if you blink and somebody takes the RAM off the table, look, guess what? Your RAM's going to go down pretty quickly. So you could lose a lot of EOS doing this RAM speculation. I don't think that's a good thing. I think it's built into the platform. I think there's a lot of people who made a lot of money today, and I've seen the people making the money today. Personally, I wouldn't make that gamble because I'm trying to hold on to as much EOS as possible. So I wouldn't make the gamble on the RAM speculation. But it's out there, it's available, and if people want to do it, go for it. Go for it and try to do as well as you can. Anytime, though, I've seen this much run up in one day, I always get a little bit worried. There's an old saying out there that say, pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. And when you see a big run up like this, you have to be concerned, especially with something that is not a scarce resource. This is not a scarce resource. This is RAM. This can be added. I mean, tomorrow morning, the block producers could decide to add RAM to the network. And they could add it really easily. I mean, just hardware. So we're not dealing with a really scarce resource here. But it is creating a lot of interest in the platform. When you got 1,800% in just a very short period of time, people are interested. They want to trade it. They want to go for it. They want to do it. But just remember, you're in basically a stare down with other people that are throwing their EOS out there. And everybody's throwing their EOS on the table saying, we're buying in at these prices. And if you decide to move out and pull your EOS back, then you're going to lose the difference. You're going to lose the difference between where you staked it at and where it is at when you take it off, when you don't stake it. Or unless you want to build something, which I don't think very many of these people are going to build anything on the EOS platform. They're just holding on because they know other people are going to want to build. But this is the issue. The issue is if people don't want to build right now because they're waiting to see how the RAM settles out, there'll be no demand for the RAM because nobody wants to build because they're waiting for the RAM price to come down. So you're sitting there holding EOS. Nobody wants to build on the platform as long as the RAM price is very, very expensive. So you're holding on and nobody wants the RAM. So as long as people are holding out, not building, this makes the RAM not needed. And after a while, people are going to say, well, I better, it's not going up anymore. So now I better get out of the market before everybody else does. And you could be left holding the bag. I see that's what's going to happen. A lot of people are going to be holding the bag on this RAM. Like I say, you can go from an airdrop costing around $5,000 to $170,000 to $200,000 in one day. That's a big appreciation. And like I say, my biggest issue with this is that people will lose EOS speculating on the RAM to get that last little bit out of this RAM, to get the last dollar out of this RAM. They will throw everything out there going, I'm going to stake my EOS and I'm going to, and a lot of people are telling me they feel like it's not that risky because if you stake your EOS, you get it back, but you're going to get it back at the lower price. I mean, if you stake EOS to build on the platform, and then when you or do something like an airdrop on the platform, as soon as you're done doing the airdrop, you get that EOS back. But you're going to get it back at the price that it's trading at the time that you want to take it off the market. If you want to get your EOS, you want to complete your project and your project's over with. So keep that in mind. It could be a big difference between what you're jumping in for the bandwidth at and what you're pulling back when you sell the bandwidth. And it only takes a few people to drop this price, especially as big as it's gone. So we'll see what happens. My prediction is that the RAM price will come down. The price of EOS will continue to go up, and holding the token, I believe, is much more valuable than staking it right now on this RAM, especially at these prices. There were a lot of people that saw it really quickly and they jumped on board and they really got involved. That drove it up, which got more and more people involved, which really got it going And that's really what happened today. You just had a massive speculation on RAM today. And everybody jumped in because they saw a lot of people were making a lot of money. And a lot of people did make a lot of money. Think about that. If you bought RAM this morning at around, if you had a 200 EOS, I mean, if you bought 200 EOS for a megabyte of RAM, you spent 200 EOS. And tonight it's 800 or 700 EOS, or let's say 800 EOS. You made 600 EOS today on a single megabyte of RAM. That's pretty good. That's pretty nice. So yeah, that's a pretty good fit. But if you bought today at 800 and tomorrow morning it's 400, you've lost 400 EOS. So yeah, it works both directions too. So whenever I see things go up like this quickly, I see things go down just as quickly. So we'll see what happens. This is an interesting play. And like I say, another dimension of this platform, an incredible dimension of this platform. I don't think anybody even thought of. When I saw the EOS RAM go up, and I saw it go up pretty quickly, I was like, I'm not going to jump into this because I don't want to lose any EOS. I like my EOS. I'm really happy with it. I want to see it go to $100 a token, and I don't want to gamble it on a speculation play with the RAM. So I stayed out of the game. But it was hard to see it go up this high because I know that we are launching something on the EOS platform, and that just become a lot more expensive. So yeah, there is a double kind of thing going on here. Where if you want to build on this platform and you want to buy the EOS, you want to buy the RAM, but then again, you don't want to spend a lot of EOS doing it, and then when you finish your project, then get a lot less back than what you put in. So anyway, it's an interesting day. Very, very interesting day. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I don't even know where it's at. I was watching this tracker, and after a while, I couldn't even get it on the tracker anymore. So I don't even know where it's at. Maybe it's at 1,000 right now. Could be. I know I saw it go up big time today. Many multiple times. So anyway, RAM speculation, another interesting part of EOS. But we'll see what happens with that. Appreciate you watching. Thank you.